I got game, going insane, MVP, Hall of Fame, I smash straight, call me Dame, gonna get back, make it rain.
What's going on, Stin Nation? It's Stinsation, and today we gonna be checking out Rowan and Sabrina's Disney Channel movies, like just to see which one had the better one, like just because. For folks that's gonna say, "Oh, Stin, stop pitting these beautiful women against each other." Well, I just gotta say, take a chill pill, man. But nah, like I'm just talking about these two movies, like right here in the same video, because usually like movies like an hour long, and it's only like so much you can get out of one movie. So like I just like talk about them in pairs. It also worked because these two might be in the next show that I'm talking about. Maybe. I guess we talking about Invisible Sister first because it came out first. Right? So the movie was about a sister that was invisible. But nah, like the movie was about like a sister tandem, sisters. Cleo, just like a regular basic girl, like nothing special about her. And Molly, a popular girl. So Cleo was always like kind of living in her shadow, like Shadow the Hedgehog. Like that boy Shadow don't got a good game, but like even when he had a bad game, like that wasn't even the worst game in like the Sonic, franchise, because they had an even worse game. So this guy ain't even remembered for nothing. Anyways, in class, since Cleo was a smart kid, she got like this assignment from her like science teacher where she had to turn some into some crystal, really. So like when she was at home working on it, like a moth came in and made her spill chemical X on her experiment or whatever she was working on. It wasn't no chemical X or nothing, but like it was still like a special type of chemical, and like it turned the moth invisible, but like you could still like kind of see it. She had to chase the moth around because like ain't no telling what could happen, but the moth was like, Sonic, you're too slow, and like she couldn't catch it because like she was slow. So yeah, later in the night, like the moth came back and like it kind of died because it flew into a light. Yeah, bugs are dumb. But the thing is, like it fell in this glass of water and Molly basically drank an invisible moth and became invisible. And yuck, this is the type of movie that would make you lose your appetite real quick. Like I always had a fear of bugs, so like seeing that scene, like even though the moth was computer animated, I'm like, nah. I don't even know where I heard this, but like I think one of my teachers, like I don't know, like ninth grade or something, they said like I guess like some ancient folks like Egyptians or something, like they ate cockroaches for like protein. But what about a big moth? What is that supposed to give you? And what that's supposed to look like coming out the other end? But anyways, like yeah, she was invisible, but it wasn't gonna become like permanent until 12 o'clock. Yup, it was another one of those movies. But Molly still had some important stuff like that lacrosse game and like relationship stuff. So Cleo had to wear this big behind costume and pretend to be Molly until they got that Travis Scott antidote. Like without spoiling everything, that's basically the whole movie. What I would say about this movie is like I mess with what they going for. You see with Cleo, like no one knew her. She was like basically a brown shirt in 2K. She was invisible, but her sister was actually like popular. Like everybody knew her. So I like how they got to like switch lives. I think the best part about this movie is that it's a Halloween movie and they could have did that whole Freaky Friday switching body type of thing. But the movie basically did like the same thing, but like made it kind of unique and like they wasn't ripping off nothing, More positives, like I like how this movie was short because I'm gonna keep it distinct with you. I got a low attention span. Or it's kind of situational because like if it's interesting, like yeah, let's go. But if it's boring, then like after like 30 minutes or so, like I'm out of there. I'm coasting. I like making these videos, but I ain't about to sit through like a whole boring like documentary type movie just to make it. Like thought I was done with that stuff at high school, Anyways, what was this movie like? Hour 20 or so. I always be complaining about how DCOM's short because they ain't like 2 hour 30 minutes like when you go out to like a AMC or something, Oh yeah, tip for going to the movie theaters. Bring your own snacks. It's gonna save you a fortune. Anyways, Disney be making these shorter movies and sometimes they be feeling like incomplete, like they could have added more. Like Lemonade Mouth, I said if that movie would have got like an extra like 20 or so minutes to like flesh everything out and explain everything, then it would have been a 10 out of 10 and like I wouldn't want a sequel. Like it would have been like a perfect movie. So I think Invisible Sister is like one of the best DComs that like took advantage of its screen time and like ain't mess around and like add a bunch of filler stuff in the movie. Like it got to the point really. Only bad thing I would have to say is about the cast. I didn't really know this Paris girl like going into this. Like I'm just looking through her stuff right now and it looking like she was on Disney XD and like I never really watched those shows. They were loud and wacky, and some of those Disney XD shows were basically like cartoons in real life. So nah, I ain't like them. But going again, I just seen Rowan and Current, and I got 2 stars. This got no reason to be bad. Funny thing is, folks say that you should only have like 1 star, cause like if you have 2 stars, then one of them is gonna get outshone, and that's such a idiot way to think. Like. No, imagine if the Warriors was just Steph. Like, yeah, he gonna score 40 every game, but they ain't winning no championship. But yeah, when you get Durant, Clay, and Draymond, like, sure, Durant outplayed Curry. He outshined him, outshone him, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, no one gives a lick because that team won 2 championships and considered like one of the greatest teams of all time, and you can't take that away from them. It's the same thing in acting. The folks in charge of this movie ain't care about which one of them shine the most. Like, oh, we can't cast like a bunch of stars because this Rowan movie and we want her to shine. Like, that was not going through none of those executives' mind. They just tried to get the most stars possible to make the best movie because that's how you make the best movie. So just seeing Rowan and Karen, and like I just found out that like Paris was a star. Like you would think that they would just like curry this movie like 3 stars, right? But I went sold on Paris. I think Rowan like. Nah, she's not really amazing at acting. And Karen, like, they basically gave that boy a side character. I thought the cast talent was, like, overrated, especially Rowan, but I thought they, like, utilized them better than this could have been, like, you know, better movie. But that ain't happened, so I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10 for being, like, an alright Halloween movie, but it ain't, like, a go-to movie. Like, nah, that's out the table. Alright, so for Adventures in Babysitting, like, I'm gonna keep it still with you. I ain't seen the original. Hey, like, I don't like going back and watch, like, 90s and 80s stuff. Like, everything's come such a long way and it's like hard to go back, you know. Anyways, the movie was about these 2 folks. Jenny was a responsible person. Lola was a not responsible person or an irresponsible person, but like they were all in it for like the same thing. Photography. Like they like taking pictures and like they met when they was trying to apply for some job. Anyways, they got their phones mixed up. So like when Lola got this parking ticket, she took one of Jenny's babysitting kids that like called her phone because like she wanted to get some income to pay that hefty fine for that ticket. Like the way they talk about it, you think it's like an NBA fine for getting suspended when really it's just a $80 ticket. I mean, $80 is a lot, like, depending on where you're coming from. But, like, they made it seem like an NBA fine when really, like, if you got, like, a middle-class type of job, then, like, it's just slap on the wrist. Anyways, Lola was terrible at babysitting. So, like, when they found out that they had each other's phones, Jenny went over to Lola because really those kids that she was taking care of, like, the parents thought that it was actually her. And, like, since Lola was irresponsible, like, she didn't want her resume to get tarnished. She didn't want her legacy to get tarnished. But something did happen. Like she lost one of the kids, so they had to find them. That's not the whole movie, but like that's just like enough. Like losing the kid started the adventure that they're talking about in the title. So I think it's like fair to like just say that. Alright, my thoughts in this movie is that it was also like an alright movie. It ain't alright original, but I like what they were going for. These folks with opposite personalities would never hang out on like regular like circumstances, you know. So they got in a position where they had to work together, and while working together, like they kind of gave up their extreme personalities. Jenny learned to have more fun when she was hanging around Lola, and Lola learned how to be like more responsible when she was hanging around Jenny. But that's the only thing I like about this movie. This was like such a long movie, and there's like a bunch of filler in there. Also, it's disappointing because this movie had more star power than Invisible Sister. Like just Sabrina and Sophia was more than all 3 of them combined. I'm sorry, but it's true. And I like seeing like Sophia in some other than the sentence because like I said that I like that movie, but it was like kind of nerdy, and this was like more of a regular type of real life type of movie, you know. But this movie was a carry job because it was literally only them, no real adult figures, because this was a movie about babysitting. So like why would they have adults? And the kids that they got, like I'm sure that they're good actors, but like when they was writing them, like nah, they just made them like kids. So I'm gonna have to give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was like an alright adventure, but like ain't nothing special about it, and the movie was like kind of long. So that's what I thought about Rowan and Sabrina's movies. Right when folks thought that I was gonna pit them against each other and say that one's better than the other, like, nah. Same rating, like, I don't got a preference because these movies, like, weren't the best thing ever. They was just, like, alright. But yeah, Rowan and Sabrina, you know what's up next. But, like, what are your thoughts on the movies? Like them? Dislike them? Ever heard of them? Explain. But, alright, it's gonna be the bed. My name's Stinsation, and we're out of here. Peace.
Some way, some way, some way.